Welcome everyone to the monthly movie dispatch, the movie review show for friends you can trust. Every week we broadcast and review a new film, talk about some film news, and recommend what to watch. Okay, I'm ready
Brendan,
when
I
you are.
totally screwed. I totally screwed you over. I just hit go. I just hit the
Okay,
go
here we go.
button, and I didn't tell you that we were going. So,
Here we go. Welcome to the monthly movie dispatch, the movie review show from friends you can trust. Every week we broadcast a review of a new film, talk about some film news, and recommend what to watch. We've been talking, critiquing, and gushing over movies since we were in high school, and we aim to bring you honest conversation on relevant cinema. I'm your host for this week, Brandon, and with me is Shaun, my
I
co-host.
I am your saboteur. Hey,
That is true. And together we will be reviewing the film Free Guy. This is the new film by Shaun Levy. It came out maybe about a week ago, but we're going to dive into it on this episode. Thought there was some like kind of interesting pre-information going into this. One big thing I wanted to bring up is this movie Free Guy was affected really heavily kind of by the pandemic. It's one of those like major movies that was stuck in delayed hell throughout the last over a year. I remember seeing trailers for this movie a long time ago
yeah.
because this is supposed to be like a summer blockbuster for 2020. So they were
hmm
advertising it like I swear like 2019, and then it just vanished off the face of the earth because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it got delayed like four times because being like that early, I think it was supposed to come out in June 2020, and they pushed it off until the winter because the pandemic was supposed to be over by then. And as it got closer to that, they realized it wouldn't work. They pushed it off after that until 2021 spring, and
hmm
then again until late summer to finally get to where we are.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting thing I just looked up that is Disney actually acquired Fox on March 20th, 2019. So I don't know what 3 months or so before this movie was set to release, and that actually
like
kind of
2019 or 2020?
2019 March 20th, 2019. So
Okay. So before, well before it was supposed to be released then,
yes, before, but certainly not before.
the pandemic and everything.
No, certainly not before the movie was shot and probably mostly fully edited, and
Okay.
that's kind of interesting because there's some stuff in this movie that reflects that acquisition by
That
Disney.
shift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be actually, I'm kind of curious as to what you think
hmm
that was. But let's try not to forget once we
hmm
actually dive into
Yeah.
here. Um, I don't know, but the box office has been interesting in this movie. It came out uh it's been out for two weekends now.
hmm
And it did pretty well.
Yeah. I mean, I watched um, Charts with Dan, Dan Merle's
Oh yeah.
kind of YouTube show. And yeah, he was just kind of talking about how the movie did. I don't I don't think the movie did particularly well for a normal year, but it is showing some promise um, for a pandemic year. It pretty dramatically outperformed most estimates for
Okay.
its opening weekend, and it seems to be holding pretty strong. And the movie, it's getting it's well reviewed and it has really good word of mouth. People really seem to be enjoying it, and um,
I mean,
yeah,
and this hasn't been the case for every movie this summer. It's not like we're coming out of the pandemic
yeah,
and everything's great for the box office. So it it is interesting that it didn't fully affect this movie and that this
hmm
one seems to be standing out and
yeah,
people are actually going to see it.
yeah.
Because there has been some other unexpected flops in the
Like,
previous,
I mean,
month or two.
just a couple weeks ago, yeah, the Suicide Squad. I don't know if
Hmm.
they're officially calling it a flop, but it definitely didn't perform the
Yeah,
way that
and
they
I mean,
were
there's
thinking and
so
they were
many
hoping.
there's so many factors like, and I found out at the last minute that this movie actually wasn't available for streaming and you had to go and see it in person.
Yeah,
So
theater release only. So
And
that's actually different
maybe
from a lot
that's
of
another reason why the box office could have been doing good
yeah.
because unlike and the Suicide Squad, I did watch it at home and had a great time watching that with friends in my,
Hmm.
in my apartment.
Yeah, and
I
I
wasn't
know
forced to go out and watch it.
yeah, and it's really interesting. It's a really interesting time right now because um, I know a lot of most movies they don't release the streaming numbers for their
Mhm.
simultaneous releases. So that we all everyone knows the box office numbers, but most movies you don't know the at home numbers. And every once in a while they release it. Like Disney's released it a couple times for oh shoot, what was their last big movie? Um,
What was Disney's last big movie?
is the Marvel movie, Black Widow.
Okay. Okay.
They released that, and a lot of people were speculating that the reason they chose to release the Disney Plus Premium, whatever
Premiere. Yeah.
Premium numbers is because the box office numbers were a little underwhelming. Not totally underwhelming, but they were a little underwhelming, and they didn't want the image of them releasing a big Marvel movie flop.
Yeah.
So
And that makes sense.
there's
They
a
need to kind of save their name there.
yeah.
But I mean, I honestly like I feel it. Like everyone thought like movies would bounce back, and
Yeah.
obviously the quarantine isn't fully over yet. But I as like someone who loves going to the movies and loves going to the movie theaters, like just my mindset has been changed about what how I want to like experience a movie, my level of effort of like traveling
Mm-hmm.
to go see something, and is it going to
Yeah.
be worth it? And a movie like Free Guy, honestly, The Suicide Squad, I should have saw in theaters, except for I had a good kind of party with friends, made up for it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's movies now that I'll just see at home because I don't want to be on the subway for 50 minutes just to go see a film.
That's a
Uh,
long
I don't know.
subway
My
ride for
mindset's
a movie.
changing, and I love movies, so I can't imagine the mindset of like more normal movie watching people, what their mindset is at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And it's obviously there's a lot of talk, and it's hard to know how the pandemic is affecting which movies. And we
Yeah,
all know that it is having an effect, but like Delta, like around when the Suicide Squad release, the Delta variant was really on the rise, and it's still obviously on the rise. But that was big news at the time. It was that was and it
big
still
news
is.
that week.
Yeah, it was just kind of that week, and so you wonder, did it, you know, make a lot of people not want to go out? Whereas that's kind of our short attention span is it's kind of old news now, and so
And leave
yeah,
it to Disney to being the one
yeah,
production studio to have a big
yeah,
like box office film this summer and to
mm-hmm.
do really well with Free Guy. So of
Yeah,
course I don't know, they always seem to make the most money,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
and
They
they're doing it
just,
again.
I mean, I don't know how to explain this other than a bit of luck, but it's a you know it's also probably the kind of movie, but it actually isn't even their movie. It was, uh, you know, 20th
Yeah,
Century Fox's
they
movie,
just
and they just
acquired it.
acquired it and released it. So yeah,
Speaking of acquiring properties that are not your own,
mm-hmm.
segues right into a big plot point of Free Guy.
Yeah,
So let's jump into the movie.
yeah.
Free Guy. So this is kind of Ryan Reynolds' big project. He just kind of like Daredevil. He really spearheaded this.
Uh,
He executive produced it.
Deadpool. Sorry,
What?
you said Daredevil.
Yeah. Oh,
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Deadpool, Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like Deadpool. He kind of like really spearheaded this. I mean, he has his like style and character and his level of comedy all over this movie,
Mm.
just like Deadpool. But it was directed by Shaun Levy, who's produced things, but I didn't see too big of a
He
directorial
has a
past.
directorial presence. It looks like he mostly has done a lot of TV, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of like romantic comedies. He also
Okay.
he was involved in Stranger Things.
Okay.
He directed 8 episodes and produced.
Some Stranger
Yeah,
Things actors in here that I
yeah,
noticed.
yeah.
But yeah, he hit big with this one. Then this
Mm-hmm.
is this biggest movie to date, and obviously he's doing pretty good with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he was scared to death after what happened the last year and a half to his baby of a film that he'd been
Mm-hmm.
working on probably for a long time. But this is starring Ryan Reynolds, Jodie Comer, and Taika Waititi, among many other people.
Mm-hmm.
Plot description: a bank teller discovers that he's actually an NPC inside a brutal open world video game. Um, so let me throw it off to you, Shaun, because I
Yeah.
think we might have a little bit different takes on this film. But how did you enjoy it? What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a bunch of fun. I have a lot to say about problems that I had with it, and it was pretty silly, and it was pretty underwhelming in a lot of ways, and um,
So you liked it?
I did like it. I
Yeah.
thought it was quite delightful. I thought the world was a lot of fun, and honestly, a little bit in spite of myself, I quite enjoyed it.
Mhm.
I
I think
thought,
delightful might be is pretty good word. I think that at every front, this movie's trying to be delightful.
yeah, it's not trying to push anyone's buttons. It's not trying to get in your face. It's just trying to be fun. It's and it's a nice little story, and it's cute, and Ryan Reynolds is an endearing character. Um
Ryan Reynolds, and I feel like he is playing the exact same character as he does in I
yeah.
keep wanting to say Daredevil in Deadpool.
Uh-huh.
Just like the same sarcastic
A
guy.
PG-13 version of Deadpool. Although,
Yeah, and he has like the same vocal inflection
uh-huh.
as he
Oh
does
yeah.
in Deadpool,
Yeah.
which it can't be the way he talks all the time. There's just no way.
It's the
Uh,
same in that cell phone commercial. It's the same character.
mhm. And so I
Uh
just think, yeah, he's like just fish out of water most of this
uh-huh.
movie, and it's easy, it's light. Some would say it's delightful,
Mhm.
and the movie's just trying to be pleasant from beginning to end. I guess it's
Yeah.
super harmless,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's just trying to be a good time and not make anyone hate it
Mhm.
from beginning to end.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of really fun casting choices too. One I honestly didn't recognize her a little bit in this movie, Jodie Comer, who is Liberty Bell in Glow, and um, what is it, The
Okay.
Hunt. She's the main character from The Hunt, I believe.
Hmm.
Where I for some reason there was something about her in this movie, maybe because she was wearing less makeup or something. But yeah, I kind of didn't place her for some reason. I
And is
actually really liked her.
she's the programmer lead?
Yeah, she was the love interest, Millie, the
Got it.
lead.
Okay.
You mentioned Taika Waititi, who's just a ton of fun every time you see him, and he has a lot of fun energy in this movie. Little Rel
Mhm.
Howery is really good and everything. And then you mentioned Stranger Things, Joe Keery, who is
He's
the
the brother. Or no,
no the
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 boyfriend of the
yeah
sister.
yes yes, the one, not the brother but the other one of that love triangle
Yeah, yeah.
from the from that group. And then yeah, so it had a really fun cast, and there's a lot of other people in here that were really fun. So uh,
One thing that really stood out to me in the movie as a plus is the CGI was great.
mm-hmm.
For just an action comedy, I think there was a lot of good detail. Maybe just shit is getting easy for people to do
Yeah.
in visual effects nowadays. Because I mean, I was looking at the budget; it is expensive, but it's like 115 million.
Yeah.
But this movie was like non-stop
Mm-hmm.
CGI, and I think it was styled really well. I think it looked really clean uh, for the most part, and there's actually some parts where they like went above and beyond, and it was like actually really had some like
Mm-hmm.
unique visuals, of course.
Yeah, I don't think it definitely did have some style. I don't think it really was pushing the envelope in any real way, but there were some nice shots that looked expensive, and
Yeah.
long continuous shots of I
Hmm.
think even what it was the opening of this movie, or one of the
Opening
opening.
looked clean
Yeah,
with
it was
the
like a
like slow motion,
yeah.
the rockets, the
Hmm.
explosions.
Yeah, it was a long single shot,
Mhm.
and yeah,
The
it looked good.
cars, all the CGI cars in the traffic, like blowing up
Uh-huh.
around him and hitting the car, and
Hmm.
yeah, I was just impressed overall with like the level, how far they went with
Hmm.
the CGI in just an action comedy.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
like this was like Disney Marvel
Yeah.
superhero level of, but needed that kind of budget
Yeah,
in order
I
to
mean,
fulfill what they
I
wanted.
I will say, like, in comparison, the Suicide Squad, which was also a heavy action
Yeah.
comedy, heavy CG action comedy, cost like twice as much as this movie did.
Hmm. The
Um,
CGI in the Suicide Squad, not to just go on a tangent, was fucking
yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
So maybe
it was
movies
incredible.
like
It wasn't quite at that
software,
level, but
no,
definitely wasn't quite at
but
that level. But it definitely was,
it's impressive.
pretty impressive, and it's really cool that there's been actually several superhero other properties that have done the action comedy thing, like um, Guardians of the Galaxy, um, Thor.
Hmm.
There's been several, but they've all been kind of Marvel comic book movies, and
Hmm.
it actually is pretty cool that this movie was an
Own property.
original property, and they took a shot on it, and I hope it pays off and continues to pay off. And yeah, I mean, Disney's got to make their money, so.
Yeah. I think what my impressions of the movie is like I don't fault anyone for liking it because it is so likable, but I think I just got into a state after the first like 20 minutes or maybe half hour of just eye rolliness in how like simple everything was.
Mm-hmm.
And just how likable they wanted everything to be. Like there
Yeah.
was so few risks in this movie. Like every character, every problem, Taika Waititi, the villain, what he stood for, the like morals and lessons, just everything was
Mm-hmm.
so simple and been there, done that.
Yeah.
I actually felt a lot of this with Coda on more of a drama scale, and
Oh.
in this movie, I just felt like that on an action comedy scale. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't necessarily even laughing really at all. There's maybe a couple parts. Honestly, like I remember this when he one of the background characters kills somebody and he like bobs up and down and like what do you call it? Nut Dre? What is it?
Oh
What's the word?
yeah.
Teabagging.
Teabag. Yeah.
He just teabags him in the background. I was like, that gave me a chuckle. But
Yeah.
literally, other than that, I don't think anything was really that
Yeah.
funny. It was just kind of pleasant enough to
Mm-hmm.
like enjoy.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd agree with that.
and the action, while the CGI looked good and maybe that opening shot was probably the coolest thing I saw in the whole movie,
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing really that interesting about any of the action.
Mm-hmm.
So in an action comedy, when both of those are pretty basic, it's just not really a movie I'm gonna really
Yeah.
tell anyone to go see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's the thing. I'm not going to disagree with really anyone's opinion on this movie.
Hmm.
Um, I thought I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I actually, it was nice. I thought the characters were nice and delightful. I liked the relationship
Hmm.
between Guy and Millie, the love interest, and there were a few nice little story turns. I don't even want to say twists, but it was little shifts
Let's
that.
let's get into those because we've now both said our overall thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, now might as well move into spoilers, move into individual story points. Um, let's hit it.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some of those like? So yeah, stop watching it if you haven't seen it because we're going to talk about individual spoilers. Tell me what twist did you were
Well,
you kind of pretty
the
on board
kind of
for?
twist
I have a few.
of that the whole journey is kicked off by Guy seeing this girl and love at first sight, which is a kind of an obvious basic trope, but the kind of turn that it took is when you realize that was programmed into him by his programmer, because he was in love with,
Also liked that girl.
yeah,
Hmm.
in love with his
Just a
partner.
clever, like, full circle
Yeah. um
written story beat. Hmm.
yeah, and like all the and he was even kind of all the things that were kind of made him kind of perfect for her. He loved bubblegum ice cream. I think there was another couple, like the song. There was a couple other ones
Hmm.
that made her notice him. That was kind of a nice little turn.
Hmm.
Um, and having said that, I don't think the those two characters, that relationship was well set up or well established between the Millie and the other programmer guy, the real guy, not
Hmm.
guy. I shouldn't say guy
They had
because
known
the
each other.
character's name.
They've been
Yeah.
programming with each other their whole lives, but they were
Uh,
just friend zoned each other.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like,
And it was also, there was a cliche trope of he's in love with her and she didn't even notice him, never even thought of him that way. And then when she realizes that he is in love with her, then she thinks of him that way.
and then they're
And she's,
both just in
yeah,
love
and
with
they're
each
the,
other
yeah,
instantly.
yeah. So that definitely didn't work for me, but there was a
Hmm.
couple nice things. I like the idea of the big company buys the little company and uses their code, but uses their code illegally to avoid paying royalty. Like, that was kind of an interesting plot that I haven't really seen before. It's kind of a newer
There was
one
one.
because
There's one part
gaming.
of that was really bugging me. They added like an extra line, the fact that it was actually that he actually just purchased it,
Mm-hmm.
and they just sold it to him, and I feel like they just shouldn't have had that in the movie, because it was one argument that the main couple had at the beginning when they're trying to explain this whole
Mm-hmm.
drama of uh the court lawsuit that she's trying to file and stuff. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, you didn't need to tell us that he just bought the company from you and you willingly sold it to him for money
Mm-hmm.
to begin with. And now you're like constantly in regret, or they didn't really explain
No,
anything
actually,
after
I
that.
thought that
But
was well explained. It was, he bought the company and he owed them so he bought the company and he bought the game from them with
yeah,
the
yeah.
intent of releasing it, and they were
Hmm.
going to supposed to make royalties off of that released game, but he ended up shelving it and not releasing it according to him, and so they didn't get any royalties for the game. But he took their game
What?
and used the code, and it, as we find out, he took the game, used the code, used the whole AI algorithm to create a different game so that he didn't have to pay them royalties. Missed it?
Um, wow. That sounds like a perfect explanation.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
And that's
I
kind of a
guess I missed
clever,
that.
I actually, that's a kind of a clever premise for a
Why?
movie.
So why
I
was the
like
guy
that.
just casually working for him without like being upset about this then?
Well, he was upset, and I assume Taika Waititi buys the company, and
Keeps
usually when
his
you buy a
position.
company,
Yeah,
when
I got
you
that.
acquire, yeah, he kept his position in the company, and the
Just
girl
to be
was like,
close to
no,
his source
screw
code,
this.
maybe.
No, I mean, yeah, because it's a job, and
Yes, yeah.
working for a gaming company, um, making seemingly lots of money there, but the girl chose not to go because she was upset about the whole thing, and yeah, so
Okay. Okay.
I thought that
Great
actually
explanation.
worked pretty well.
I definitely missed something
Do you have
big.
to go to the bathroom?
Maybe. I
In
did go to the bathroom once and I left my headset on while I did. I didn't pause
uh,
the movie.
uh,
But maybe I stopped paying attention. Uh,
um, and
keep going.
there's kind of some, I don't know, messaging of, I liked that they were, taking jabs at like Grand Theft Auto, the dumbest like games that I think are so dumb. I kind of hate,
Mhm.
poking fun at releasing sequels, which is a big thing in games with
I
Call of
did.
Duty, and it's just
I liked Taika Waititi. Yeah, so it's fine, but like it had just like the most like um simple, what's the like galaxy brain like meme you see online where it's like mind
yeah,
blown, and it's
yeah,
just like, no, like this is the most
yeah,
basic thing you think
yeah,
about in second grade that you're putting in the
uh,
script.
yeah,
So I just, that was kind of my issue with it. And like Taika Waititi does sum it up pretty well with that.
mm,
Um,
yeah. Why would I?
Kentucky Fried
Yeah,
Chicken.
yeah,
It's like, you like Kentucky Fried Chicken. I
yeah,
make it. Why don't
yeah,
I just keep giving it to you?
yeah.
And I'm just
Why
like,
would I make uh, someone's turkey shack when?
and I kind of agree with Taika Waititi in that,
Yeah,
because like the like second grade mindset is just like, sequels are bad, sequels
yeah,
are dumb, make your own art, like
yeah,
be unique, stand out.
yeah.
Um, but and so yeah,
But
so
the
it's
masses
just,
are hard to deny
yeah.
what the
But
masses
you know
want.
what, Shaun? They released the beautiful artistic game, and guess what?
Did it? You think it
Everyone
was successful?
actually, everyone, they said it was, because everyone
Oh
actually
yeah,
wanted the artistic
yeah.
game. Did you know that?
I
Um,
didn't know that because there's lots of artistic games and people. Well, some people want them.
and
There's
and a
some
lot,
that want to get.
they make a lot of money.
But
It's
I was.
actually,
I will.
games aren't like run by these monolith corporations
Uh
that
huh.
ruin everything. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of data out there that does show that there's plenty of people who want to
Yeah.
play good games, watch good movies, and enjoy
Definitely.
good art.
And they do, and it's
It's been
just
happening.
most people just want to go for that simple thing. But I will say, like, they've been talking about this, how beautiful this game is, the whole movie, and they talk it up so much, and then I gotta say that game looked really dumb.
Looked
I,
awful.
I don't know
Instead
what
of
the
killing the
deal.
AI, why don't you just
Just
watch them
watch
interact with each
them.
other? Just watch the
What
AI
is that? What are you talking
in a
about?
jungle fairy
I
butterfly grassy land.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of getting um I was kind of getting vibes of what is the company that did like Journey, and I think it
Hmm.
was called Flow. There was a few,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
flower game. I was like,
100%.
that's kind of what the vision that I had in mind, that they were, that like that's the kind of game that they made, but maybe they
Yes, yeah, I
something
get
like
know what
that.
you mean.
And then
But
in
then
the
we
end,
see it,
it's just, we see it and it's so dumb. It's like literally
just an island.
worse, than Free City,
Yeah,
because at least Free City kind of looks fun for an afternoon.
fun and intricate,
Yeah.
and had probably a lot of shit going
Yeah.
on in it. This other one was just like
Yeah.
absolutely like bland.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that it was like a green environment with trees.
Yeah.
Um, I That's really funny, but I wanted to kind of take my analogy a step further, because like it's interesting that the moral of the movie is something that the movie Free Guy isn't fulfilling at all. Like Free Guy is the monolithic Disney bland
Hmm.
movie that doesn't have all that much to
Yeah.
say.
That's
But the one
very
thing it
true.
is trying to say is what it doesn't represent
Yeah.
in from the get-go,
It
and
utterly fails to like live up to
its
the
own
its own
morals.
message and morals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I definitely felt that, and especially now that it's owned by Disney, it's even more ironic.
Little cringe. A little
Yeah,
cringe.
a little cringe. Disney just pumping out the same sequel-y shit over and over, but they don't
I
care.
you
This
mentioned
movie
you
made
mentioned
money.
early.
All their other movies are gonna make money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned early on, what do you think was some of the Disneyfication of it
Oh,
that
I
you
mean,
noticed?
obviously the Captain America shield moment.
Right.
There is, obviously, if it was owned by Fox, there's no way. So yeah, he pulls out the shield, and
Hmm.
then you hear not only just the shield, where they maybe there's like some kind of rights where the
Oh, the
captain,
lightsaber.
there was the
You're right.
lightsaber,
And the music.
there was the music, there was the Hulk Hulk arm,
Hmm.
and I think there was some Star Wars music as well,
Yeah,
which
the Star
is
Wars theme came on.
like super extra ironic with the message of the movie for
Yeah,
sure. Like Disney just pumping out the same shit over and over and over,
reusing all
and
these things.
like, and then they put it in this. Oh God, what it like the balls of Disney. Like they even put that shit in this movie whose message is like, you
So
know,
did you notice the Fortnite pickaxe swing in
I
there? It
oh
was like
oh
the
yeah, okay, yeah,
unicorn
yeah, yeah,
pickaxe.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the pickaxe skins in Fortnite.
Yeah, I actually I saw that and I was like, why do I know that? And
Hmm.
then yeah, definitely I recognize it now. Um, but yeah, so it's ironic.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I mean, obviously I noticed those, but I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know the story behind Disney acquiring it. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I wonder how much that was like an additional scene after they shot the movie and all that, you
And
know?
they even got they got Steve Rogers, Chris Evans,
Yes.
to
Uh,
say what the did he say what the
watching
shit?
his iPhone.
What did he say?
Yeah.
He said something like that,
Just
which would what the shit would be funny because that's a Deadpool line.
the
But
movie had some weird Truman Show vibes, which was really
mm-hmm.
confusing me.
Yeah,
Like the whole world
yeah.
is watching a Twitch
Why?
stream of the video game. Is that what was going
Yeah,
on?
I guess
Like
so.
grandparents and children and diners in like Shanghai, China are
Yeah,
just watching Twitch and
yeah,
care about what's going on with this
yeah.
video game.
Yeah,
Um,
that was weird. Like some NPC character, like what is happening?
mhm.
Um, and the funny thing is, like there was even one scene where they were watching it on a CRT TV, like an old cathode ray tube, big box TV, or it wasn't even big. It was like a small TV. You can't see it. My
Yeah,
hands,
is this
but
being
yeah,
broadcast live on
it's like with
network
antennas coming out
television?
of it. What is happening here? Um,
Yeah, the cell phone of the diner was like the most
yeah,
realistic one because like someone's just watching Twitch while eating food by
yeah,
themselves. Um,
um,
but yeah, the whole like world on CRT TVs broadcast over network
yeah.
television.
It
It
was
was I was getting
definitely
a little
weird.
confused. They were trying to
Um,
make it feel like a big grander thing than it was, but when you actually
yeah.
think about it, it's just this AI for one game owned by one company. You're like this isn't substantial at all.
Hmm.
Like, and they
Yeah.
didn't need to make it a
I,
global thing.
I did kind of I got some Ready Player One vibes a little bit from it,
Mhm.
where yeah, like you said, it was way too important. Like whereas in Ready Player One, it actually kind of makes sense why the game is so important. Like they build the world around that.
Mhm.
The whole concept is built around that idea. Whereas this one is just like it's kind of isn't it just another game but
Mhm.
made by another gaming company and
Yeah.
you know one
So
of
did you know Pokimane and Jacksepticeye
there was
and
one guy I actually recognized from
uh,
pretty
Ninja?
funny. Oh yeah, I did recognize Ninja, and then there
Mhm.
was the guy with the Irish accent.
Yeah, that's
I recognize
Jacksepticeye.
him for some funny Kerbal Space Program videos.
Okay, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean those good flourishes, like
Yeah.
someone in there, whether it's the director or the original, or maybe it was just Ryan Reynolds is kind of into the culture,
Mm-hmm.
knew it enough to like include some of those prominent
Yeah.
figures in gaming.
Yeah. It's like why not? Just I'm sure they just used their own Twitch stream and downloaded it and
Got the clip in a
right.
second,
Yeah.
just had them react to a couple
Yeah.
things.
Sent them a couple lines from a script. So yeah, I thought that was nice. That was kind of cool, including the community and maybe that's some clever marketing too. Maybe they, I mean, those people have a huge fan base, and maybe they were promoting the
Yeah, it's
movie
like
and
usually movies are used to doing like global disaster movies, they'll include like some news anchor that
mm,
like is on
yeah,
network television or
yeah,
um yeah, stuff like
yeah,
that. But
Larry
instead
King
this movie
live
got
and yeah,
exactly. This movie did the same thing, but with a few Twitch streamers that probably very many less people don't actually know about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you could. I think it started with a couple that I didn't recognize, and you immediately know what they're doing.
Hmm.
It definitely worked. Um,
Can I mention one thing that did work for me? And other things did work, but I felt like I was complaining a lot. So I remember one moment that I really liked was when she kisses him again and the like branching paths of
yeah.
information explodes out of the back of his skull
Uh huh.
as the camera's like panning around them.
Yeah.
I just thought that was like a really good creative touch.
Yeah. That was definitely really cool. That it looked really good. That was a creative way to show it, and you know, it worked really well. I don't know if it was after that. I noticed that she had those colors in her hair after that scene, like
Oh,
kind of
what?
the same color scheme, like little strands of hair had the same color scheme. I don't know if maybe she had that throughout the whole movie, and I only noticed it after that scene. But
Or just some
yeah,
little design touch where she
yeah,
adopted that
yeah,
progression.
hmm
Hmm, cool.
yeah.
Anything else you want to highlight?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's not a whole lot. The ending was okay. I like the friendship between Ryan Reynolds and that was kind of nice. I guess I'll say that too. I didn't care about the love interest how they ended that love interest between those two characters, but I did like that Ryan Reynolds didn't go off and have another love interest, or like it was kind of like he's got his best bud, and
Hmm.
he doesn't have a sad story. He's not losing. Yeah, he's losing the girl that he loves, but he's still got his best bud. I thought it was kind of
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of nice.
So the version that I watched, for some reason, the last 2 minutes of it switched to Italian.
Oh,
And at that point, I didn't really
ah,
care. I was like,
yeah,
I get what's happening. And I just kept
yeah,
watching it and there's no overdub or anything.
uh,
But I didn't get that detail about like, does he still get to love her even though he knows he's not real? And now she's found her love of her life in real life.
yeah.
Um,
Apparently, I guess.
but now thinking back to the scene where they're looking at each other and then the cop friend comes in, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Uh, but it was just Italian, and I was just like, all right, I get it. I'm just gonna like wrap this movie up.
uh, yeah. Yeah. I guess I'll also say like a lot of what this movie was trying to depict, the gaming world and the way that people play games. I don't think a lot of it was particularly accurate or
We
clever or
didn't touch on
anything.
this, and we
Yeah.
really should have.
Yeah, probably. It just
This was one of the
wasn't
reasons
really
why
clever.
I was excited to see the movie. I remember the original trailer in like winter 2019 when they're promoting this for like the big summer blockbuster. I was like, that's an interesting idea. Like free guy.
Mm,
There's all the explosions. He's living inside of Grand Theft Auto, and like the trailer looked really interesting, and like you could spoof this so well. And I was maybe on board with the spoof for like 15 minutes,
hmm
and then they just like hammered the exact same video gamey joke into the ground over the course of like the next hour and a half.
yeah.
Um, and it just got really tired really quickly, just the video game spoof.
hmm
So
Yep.
it worked at the start, and there was a couple good ideas like the teabagging, like the guy that was glitching in the background, and
Yeah.
but
The guy who was just
it was fun.
running into the wall. Yeah, just the noob running into the wall.
Mhm.
The
But
leveling system. I don't know. It just like he puts on the glasses and like what video game looks like that to
yeah, yeah, it's
you know
yeah, and that too. Like I
what?
don't think it was well researched. I don't think it was well designed. I think what they wanted the Grand Theft Auto spoof game to be inside the gaming world wasn't well thought out,
Yeah,
like you're saying.
yeah, definitely. They were just like I don't know
Yeah, they sent it to the
video
design
game
department.
world.
They're like, this is a video game. Do something
Yeah,
with it.
and
There's floating rings in the air.
there's no clear direction, no clear like vision for what it was supposed to look like or what it was supposed to be. So
There's a
yeah,
floating health kit that you can
yeah,
touch.
yeah,
Um, maybe my favorite thing that they were doing was like their home hubs
Mm-hmm.
that they would go to. I thought, and those that wasn't CGI, they actually built both of them, Ryan
Uh-huh.
Reynolds and the girls, and it's
Yeah.
just full of like amazing cars and amazing guns. It reminded me of when my like Derek or Kenny would show me their like Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind like
Uh-huh.
homes that was just stacked full of like 200 hours worth of collecting items and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Yeah.
but I thought that was well designed. But yeah, there was a lot of other concepts
Uh
that just no one thought through.
yeah. Yep.
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 All right.
Yep. Not particularly
Okay.
well thought through, not particularly well written, but it was nice. It was fun.
How many stars are you giving it?
Maybe probably 3.5.
Two and a
It's a
half
yeah.
to three, maybe three.
Yeah. Now that you get the
Okay.
premise.
Yeah. Now that you made me think about how everything makes sense.
Uh
Okay. So let's wrap it up. I think everyone knows what they want to do, see it or not see it. Okay. The next movie, next Tuesday, is going to be Candyman, and Nick is going to host it. So please like and subscribe on our YouTube page
mhm.
and hope to catch you next time.
Yep. I
See
might
you
join
later.
him. All right. Bye.
Peace.